My sister got engaged, and I posted a congratulatory video on social media. My commitment-phobe bestie saw it and texted me to confirm. Is the guy doctor's son from City Central Hospital? Over 6 feet 0 inches. 27 years old? His family has been doctors for 4 generations, with millions in assets? I was about to ask how she knew so much when her next message came. The ceremony isn't finished yet, right? Go mess it up. Stop them. Leave him for me, I want him. Looking at her message, I could only reply with a laugh. Don't joke around, it's my sister's big day. As soon as I sent the message, she called. I answered, hearing her urgent tone. Who's joking? I'm serious. Tell me the address now, I'm coming over. Go block them, don't let them continue. I was stunned, my smile froze. You're serious? She's 3 years older than me, 34, and claims to be against marriage, saying she'll never get married or have kids. At first, I thought she was kidding, but as time passed, I fell in love, got married, and she was still single. My kid could already run, and she was still single. Finally, I realized she was really serious. But now, she actually wants to steal my sister's fiancé, which I can't accept. I wished she could laugh and say, "You're so gullible, you believe that." But she didn't. Of course, I'm serious. She yelled, her voice high-pitched and fast. I've had my eye on him for a while. I went to the hospital a couple weeks ago because I wasn't feeling well, and he was the doctor who saw me. A star doctor, clean background, and good-looking, pretty much my type. After the appointment, I gave him my number and told him to add me, giving him a chance to chase me. Listening, I felt uneasy. She paused, her tone full of annoyance. That jerk never added me. Not only didn't he add me, but he secretly got engaged to your sister. You go stop them right now, don't let them finish the ceremony. My mind went blank, and I tried to reason with her. He and my sister have been dating for over 2 years, and their relationship has been stable. He won't add you, and the engagement can't be stopped. Calm down. Stable my ass. She shouted. Your sister is just some young chick. She doesn't deserve James. James was only tricked by your sister for 2 years because he hadn't met me. I won't let them continue. I frowned. My sister graduated from Peking University and now works at a big tech company, earning over $4,000 a month. They got together because James pursued my sister. There's no way she doesn't deserve him. Your sister isn't as bad as you say. She and my future brother-in-law are a great match. I won't tell you the address, don't come over. As soon as I finished speaking, she screamed again, Jessica, how dare you? This is about my happiness for the rest of my life. If you stop me, I'm not done with you. You're crazy. I couldn't help getting angry. He's your type, but you're not his. He hasn't even added you, you're not even friends, there's no connection. How can you talk about a lifetime of happiness? How can you talk about marriage? I didn't want to argue with her anymore and hung up, hoping she would calm down. After the engagement ceremony at the hotel, an hour after dinner, my poor programmer husband was called back to work. I was going to go back with my parents, since they had some other ceremonies at home, but my daughter didn't want to. After seeing my family off, I took my daughter towards the nearby mall, ready to fulfill my promise to buy her a toy if she behaved. On the way, I turned off the phone with my bestie and put it on airplane mode. As soon as I turned it off and connected to the internet, messages poured in. Jessica, how dare you hang up on me? Answer the phone. Answer the phone. I'm giving you one last chance, tell me the address. Aw, Jessica, you bitch, I'm going to kill you. You want to ruin my only chance at happiness, I've been waiting for him. Looking at the screen full of insults, I was stunned, feeling a wave of unfamiliarity. I'd never seen her like this in all these years. How could she insult me like this when she was being unreasonable? As I was examining this relationship, hurried footsteps came. My daughter, holding my hand, reacted first, pulling my hand and shouting as she ran. Auntie Olivia. Auntie Olivia, hug, let's play. Auntie Olivia? I looked up and was shocked to see my bestie, Olivia, quickly approaching. She ignored my daughter's greeting, approached with an angry face, and grabbed my shoulder. Where is he? Where are they? Take me there now. It's been over an hour, and she still hasn't calmed down. She actually wants to crash my sister's engagement as a stranger. I shook my shoulder and said coldly, the ceremony is over, it's done, you can't mess it up anymore. Before I could finish, Olivia yelled, I don't care if it's done or not. Where is he? Where's my man? Tell me, I'm going to find him. Her man? I was shocked. She's really lost it, completely unreasonable. I turned to leave with my daughter, but Olivia wouldn't let go. Speak, take me there. I've always been serious, and I wasn't joking. I kept walking without looking back. But Olivia actually grabbed my hair, and a sharp pain immediately came, my scalp almost exploded. She pulled my hair, forcing me to lead the way. I staggered backward, unable to break free. The sudden change caught my daughter and me off guard. My daughter caught up, grabbed Olivia's hand. Auntie Olivia, let go of Mommy. Mommy doesn't feel well. I have long hair. You can pull mine. I'll play with you. She still thought Olivia was the same Olivia who came to our house to play games with her, but she wasn't anymore. Olivia suddenly raised her hand and slapped my daughter hard across the face, then pushed her away with force. You little brat, get out of here. I couldn't imagine how much force she used. My daughter flew out. Seeing this, I almost went crazy. How could she hit a child so hard? Ignoring the pain in my head and my unsteady steps, I reached out wildly. Finally, I grabbed the hand pulling my hair and dug my nails in. Ah! A scream rang out, and almost at the same time, the pain in my head intensified. Olivia was grabbed by me, but she wouldn't let go. She clenched my hair. I steadied my crooked steps and kicked out hard. I was wearing high heels today, and although the high heels made it difficult to stand when being pulled, they were also powerful. I kicked Olivia hard with my heel. Ah! A loud cry of pain came. Olivia staggered and fell to the ground. I ignored her and quickly looked up to find my daughter. Gasping for breath, I looked around twice before seeing my daughter on the ground. I almost pounced on her, pulled her into my arms, and shouted her name, trembling. Luckily, she responded to me, crying and calling for Mommy. Then I realized that my daughter's body was lying on the ground, her head resting on the foot of an inflatable doll placed in front of a newly opened store. Fortunately, her head hit the doll. If it had been a little off, it would have hit the steps next to it, and the consequences would have been unimaginable. My daughter's head was fine, but the palms of her hands were black and red, and dust and pebbles were embedded in the bloody wounds, which she had scraped when she fell back. My daughter raised her hand, her eyes full of tears, her expression fearful and timid. Mommy, it hurts. Auntie Olivia is bad. I don't like her anymore. Looking at the injuries, my heart ached. I quickly picked her up and comforted her, ready to take her to the nearest hospital. But as soon as I took a step, a bag hit my back, and Olivia's gloomy voice came, Jessica, you bitch, you're not allowed to leave, you hurt me, ruined my good fortune, you think you can just leave like that. I knew this wasn't the time for revenge, but hearing that bitch's voice, I couldn't help it. Holding my daughter, I quickly turned around and kicked Olivia hard in the shoulder, again with my heel. Olivia immediately covered her shoulder, doubled over in pain. I raised my hand and slapped her several times, her face immediately swelling up, red. I spat on her face before leaving with my daughter. Just finished getting my daughter treated at the hospital when Olivia showed up with the police. Seeing me, she pointed and several officers came over. This woman says you assaulted her in public and stopped her from attending her own engagement ceremony. Assault, disturbing public order, come with us. I scoffed. This bitch actually had the nerve to call the cops and twist the truth. My daughter, Olivia, and I were all taken back to the station. But you can't make black into white. The incident happened on the side of the road, and even though it wasn't a busy time, there were security cameras along the street. The footage didn't have sound, but you could easily tell what happened from the visuals, and the truth came out. But Olivia was still arguing. I did hit her first, but I had a reason. She stopped me from attending my own engagement, and I panicked. It's unreasonable for her to fight back. You should arrest her. But arguing is just arguing. I showed the police our chat history, and her claim that I stopped her engagement fell apart. The final outcome was a warning, apology, and signed settlement for both parties. Olivia hurt my daughter and me, and the 2 kicks I retaliated with, boosted by my heels, were heavy. Olivia walked like she had a stroke on one side of her body, and there might have been internal injuries. She hurt my daughter this badly. I don't care if she has internal injuries. I wish she really did have a stroke, unable to take care of herself for the rest of her life. I wasn't happy with the outcome, but my daughter was scared and kept crying to go home, so I couldn't drag it out. Furious, I left the police station and met my husband, who had rushed over, looking anxious. Olivia, walking behind me, also looked unhappy. She cursed the police under her breath, glared at my family of 3 with a look as venomous as a snake, spat on the ground, and turned to leave. My husband only knew I had a fight with someone, not the specifics. Seeing Olivia's malicious expression, he asked, puzzled, "Why is your bestie here? Why is she looking at you like that? Don't tell me, you fought with her? What's going on?" An unbelievable truth. What's going on? My husband asked the question that was on my mind. I haven't figured it out either. An engagement, a social media post, and someone who was minding their own business just went crazy. What's going on? When we got home, after I got my daughter to sleep, I retold the story. On the second retelling, my husband pushed up his glasses and analyzed carefully. She said she was against marriage and wouldn't get married or have kids. She's acted that way for years. But when she met your future brother-in-law, she took the initiative, giving him her contact information. Your sister's fiancé is tall and handsome, has a great profession, and comes from a wealthy family. Most of us ordinary people never come into contact with someone like that. If your sister hadn't graduated from Peking University, joined a big company, and was excellent herself, she wouldn't have had anything to do with someone like that. With each point, Olivia's mental state became clearer. Olivia always wanted to get married, but she looked down on ordinary men and didn't want to marry one. When surrounded by ordinary men, she claimed to be against marriage. But when she met a high-class marriage prospect, like your future brother-in-law, she went crazy, thinking she deserved him, not only deserved him, but that he should be chasing her. And because this kind of opportunity is rare, she wouldn't let go, like a drowning person grabbing a lifeline. After analyzing, my husband frowned and said, "She finally met someone, and to not miss out, she's willing to turn against you and get physical, ignoring your friendship. She won't give up easily. What do we do now? Should we tell your sister?" Tell my sister, how? Say I was happy for her and posted a congratulatory message, which attracted a psycho who likes her man? Dump a bucket of cold water on her after her engagement, when she's supposed to be happy? But if we don't tell her, who knows what that psycho, who was willing to cause trouble at the engagement, will do next. After hesitating, I gripped my phone. We need to defend against the psycho first. I called my sister and quickly retold the story twice. When she answered, my sister sounded tired but happy after finishing the engagement. But after hearing it the first time and pulling her future husband over to listen the second time, all that was left on the other end of the phone was a tired voice. "Sis, this isn't real, is it? Are there really people like that, sis? Are you joking with us?" I wish I was joking. But my still aching scalp, my daughter's injuries, and the screen full of dirty words in our chat history all point to the same fact: there really are people like that in the world. My sister and her future husband were silent, probably thinking about how to respond. Yeah, how should they respond? What else will that psycho do? Before we could even come up with a plan, something happened. An engagement isn't a wedding, and the vacation wasn't long, plus a lot of it was used for the engagement preparations. So the day after the engagement, my sister and her future husband went back to work. At the hospital, James unexpectedly ran into Olivia, who was there for a checkup. There weren't many patients waiting. Olivia entered the office and asked James bluntly, "Are you still going to get married?" James hadn't thought about how to respond and was stunned for a moment, silent. Olivia pressed on and asked again. This time he snapped out of it a bit and changed the subject, saying Olivia was a great person and they should get to know each other, hang out sometime. He said he could introduce Olivia to his friends. James thought his answer was safe, that he could keep Olivia calm for now. But he was naive. Olivia looked at him coldly.
Don't you ing give me false hope. I'm not an idiot. I don't fall for that. Just tell me, are you going to dump that bitch and be with me?
The direct question left James speechless. Olivia was unhappy with his reaction. Her face immediately darkened.
When I was 18, my first boyfriend was a second-generation rich kid with hundreds of millions. He chased me for almost 3 months before I barely agreed to be with him. I'm lowering my standards now, not asking you to have hundreds of millions, and I'm even taking the initiative to chase you. But you refuse me again and again. You reject me and let Jessica stop me, hit me.
Olivia glared at James, wanting to eat him alive.
I'm asking you one last time. Will you marry me?
Silence. This was outside of James's experience. He didn't know how to respond. Olivia acted, grabbing James's hand and slamming it against the office door. After slamming the door shut, she tore her clothes. The sudden action startled James. He belatedly realized he couldn't stay in the office anymore and quickly pushed Olivia away, trying to open the door. But Olivia shouted,
"Help! Someone help! The doctor is harassing me! Help! Someone save me! Get away! Don't touch me!"
James panicked, moved faster, and pulled the door open and ran out. There weren't many patients waiting, but there were some, and the phones they were holding became recording devices. James ran out of the office in a panic, and inside the office, a woman with disheveled clothes cowered, shouting for help. I've never met such a shameless person. I didn't know how to react. After I ran out, I realized what she was going to do. I immediately went to find the president and called the police. But before they arrived, Olivia ran away crying. James is a top student, usually calm and reasonable, with clear thinking. It was the first time I'd seen him panicked, not thinking straight. But that makes sense. It's like a martial arts master, ready to spar, but the person they're sparring with is a gangster who doesn't know anything. The gangster raises a knife and swings wildly, without any skill. No matter how skilled the martial arts master is, they can only run away, or that wildly swinging knife might cut them from some strange angle. It was obvious what Olivia was going to do. She wanted to accuse James, ruin his reputation. If she couldn't have him, she'd destroy him out of spite. But this was also outside of my area of expertise. All I know is to call the police and show evidence that Olivia is malicious. James called the police. To prove that Olivia is malicious, the messages she sent me should be enough. Logically, we should have the advantage, and Olivia shouldn't be able to cause any trouble. But the truth is, we were naive. Olivia posted a video on all platforms, crying her eyes out. I wasn't feeling well, and I went to the doctor hoping to relieve the pain. But I never expected that instead of curing my illness and relieving the pain, I would encounter a perverted doctor. Dr. James' son from City Central Hospital. During my appointment, he took advantage of me when I was disoriented and tried to take advantage of me. I resisted with all my might. But he didn't stop. He tore at me even more, and even tore my clothes. If I hadn't screamed for help with all my strength, the consequences. I can't even imagine the consequences. Olivia held up her ID card, her face full of tears, crying and curling up. I know I have no power or influence, and my voice is weak, but I shouldn't be bullied at will. I, Olivia Liu, am reporting him by name, hoping that the public can seek justice for me and not let the bad guys get away. Seeing the video and hearing her slander and lies, we were shaking with anger. What bullshit, so much bullshit, she's so shameless. We immediately recorded a video to respond. The police were already reviewing the hospital's security footage and dealing with the matter, but the hospital only had cameras in the hallways, not in the examination rooms, and Olivia had pushed the door shut, so what happened inside the room couldn't be determined. Each side had their own story. And the chat history wasn't very useful. The chat history was real, but it couldn't directly prove whether the molestation in the examination room occurred. Olivia was suspected of spreading rumors and seeking revenge, but it was only suspected, and the police made no progress. We were losing the battle online. After we posted a video stating the facts and showing the chat history, Olivia immediately responded with another video, again with the tearful look.
I've seen your video of lies. It's completely slandering me. I'll just say one thing, no woman would use her reputation to do something like this. I have my job, my life, I have a face. If he hadn't molested me, I wouldn't have come out to speak up. I didn't defame, and I didn't falsely accuse. I won't admit to those fake chat logs you made. If you think I'm defaming you, if you think I'm falsely accusing you, then sue me. I'm only guilty if the law says I'm guilty, otherwise I will never give in.
Olivia had no direct evidence, at most, just a few patients outside the examination room who had filmed James coming out of the room, which, like the security footage, wasn't very meaningful. But Olivia had no evidence, and just by saying these things, public opinion turned.
Just a random person here, but I stand with the girl, she's right, no woman would use her reputation to do something like this. I agree with the person above. That beast doctor must have bullied her, she must be so desperate and helpless. I'm afraid that one day this will happen to me, so I want to contribute a little bit of strength. I support the girl. Can the beast doctor just die already? It's so disgusting. Like parents, like child. That whole family must be beasts. Die, 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 die. Go to the 18th level of hell. Go to the 18th level of hell.
Due to public opinion, James was suspended, but the public wasn't happy with this result, and thousands of people flooded the hospital's official account. Garbage hospital, only suspending the perverted doctor. You're protecting him, you're all in it together. When you find one cockroach, it means there's more than one in the house. I agree with the person above. The other doctors in this hospital must be the same, all perverts. They're already doing things like molesting patients. Who knows what more perverted things they haven't revealed? Maybe there are pinhole cameras hidden in all the examination rooms in this hospital to secretly film patients. That's very possible. That's so terrifying. James was hurt, the hospital was hurt, and James's colleagues were also hurt. Public opinion was seeping into life, surrounding James. James, who had already been forced to be suspended, was collapsing. He hid in his room with his phone, explaining himself, looking increasingly distressed. My sister called me, her voice full of tears. The police said they might not be able to do anything, and if we want justice, we can only file a lawsuit, but the process is long, and by the time we finish and prove his innocence, no one will care anymore, and it won't be real innocence. What should we do? Why is this happening? Everything was fine before. Why is this suddenly happening? Why? We didn't do anything wrong. My sister's emotions were completely out of control, and she shouted. And I, as the sister of the perverted doctor's fiancé, received hundreds of abusive messages. I can't imagine what kind of online violence they were experiencing at the center of the storm. I couldn't say a word of comfort. Comfort is useless, solving the problem is useful. So, I decided to find Olivia.
You have emotions, you're unhappy, I know, we can discuss it.
I tried to stay calm, but my heart was full of hatred for this woman who hurt my daughter and bullied my sister's fiancé. But now public opinion was on her side, and if I wanted to solve the problem, I could only go along with her and beg her. After confirming that I wasn't recording or secretly filming, Olivia smiled and slapped me lightly on the face.
Weren't you tough before? Weren't you hitting me? Why aren't you tough now, huh?
She sneered maliciously, a smile of disdain on her lips. Suppressing my anger, I tried to say in a softer voice,
Before, I didn't speak well, I didn't handle it properly. I apologize to you, I'm sorry. It's too late to be sorry.
She interrupted me, continuing angrily and desperately.
During that hour, I couldn't contact you, and I was worried about my man getting engaged to someone else. You can't imagine how helpless and desperate I was at that time.
But now it's good. Her smile suddenly widened, her eyes full of fanaticism.
The tables have turned, it's your turn to be desperate. You want me to stop? Impossible! You betrayed me, you bullied me, you all have to die.
Her madness made me tremble, almost losing control. Everything you're doing now is defamation, and it's only a matter of time before the truth is revealed. Don't continue to make mistakes. We can try to find a compromise solution to stop this farce. Olivia shook her head mockingly, looking at me with disdain. The truth?
Ha 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 ha.
Who cares about the truth except you?
No one.
And public opinion is on my side. No matter what the truth is, I'm sure to win. She stood up, looking down at me, as if enjoying my powerlessness and humiliation. You don't have the right to talk to me. What you should be doing now is thinking about how to please me, to beg for my forgiveness. Watching her walk away, my heart was full of helplessness and anger. After the incident, James thought about calling the police, my sister thought about filing a lawsuit, and I thought about giving in and begging Olivia for peace. We were all trying to seek justice through official channels, but Olivia had never told a single truth from the beginning. She falsely called the police, slandered me, and smeared James, ignored the police and the evidence, and instead accused us of faking things. All the dirty tricks she used ended up winning support. And we were stuck in a passive, embarrassing situation of being forced to prove our innocence. Is this reasonable? Is this fair? I couldn't contain my anger, took a deep breath, and decided not to care about her so-called truth anymore. Then let's make a big scene, the bigger the better. So, I found Olivia again. This time, it wasn't just me, but also my sister and her fiancé. We planned to kneel down and apologize to her on a live stream, willing to do anything Olivia wanted in front of her fans. Olivia quickly agreed, agreeing incredibly readily.
You guys are being sensible. If you can really do it, I might consider telling my 500,000 fans to lay off you a bit.
In just a few days, Olivia's social media account grew from 0 followers to 500,000. Countless netizens shouted the slogan of women's safety, and 500,000 people formed a sharp blade, giving her endless confidence. The live stream started at 8 p.m., when netizens were most active. As soon as it started, hundreds of thousands of people flooded into the live stream, and the number was still growing.
Live stream apology? Does that perverted doctor know he was wrong?
Comments flew by instantly.
Looks like it, everyone, our fight has been won. Not yet, he's apologizing because he's scared, not because he knows he was wrong.
I agree with the person above, this is just our initial victory, don't be proud. Perverted doctor go die, perverted doctor and his whole family go die. Olivia glanced at these comments of support, a hint of smugness flashing in her eyes. You said you know you were wrong, and you're here tonight to apologize to my fans and me, so start now, properly retell the story, properly repent. She emphasized.
Retell.
Her eyes focused on the fiancé. Meeting her gaze, I took a step to block him. It started because of me, let me start first. Whether Olivia agreed or not, I started my speech. James' son, male, 27 years old, 6 feet 1 inch. Handsome, wealthy. My gaze shifted to Olivia. Olivia Liu, female, 34 years old, 5 feet 3 inches. Ordinary employee, earns about $850 a month. I've known her for 5 years, and in those 5 years, she hasn't had a single boyfriend. The number of people chasing her, the number of people she was flirting with, is 0. A lonely old woman, how pitiful. As I introduced her, Olivia's expression gradually became puzzled, and her face changed. Aren't you here to apologize? Aren't you here to admit you're wrong? I continued, not giving her any chance to fight back. Olivia became angry, wanting to refute me, but I raised my hand and pointed to the live streaming phone. Olivia, weren't you here to apologize? I trusted you so much, willing to give you a chance to turn over a new leaf. She gritted her teeth angrily, trying to look pitiful. You're actually humiliating me like this, you're so vicious. I was unmoved by her act and continued to introduce my sister, Sophia Chen, female, 26 years old, 5 feet 4 inches.
Gentle and quiet, Peking University graduate, now works at a big tech company and earns 5 times as much as Olivia. Anyone who isn't blind knows who's a better match, who to choose, right?
I turned my gaze to the fiancé.
Are you blind?
The fiancé smiled and put his arm around my sister.
Of course I'm not blind. I don't like old women who are so much older than me.
So old, the fiancé emphasized. I looked at Olivia and continued to pressure her. I remember there was a 50 or 60-year-old barefoot doctor in your village. You're trying to get money by lying, why not go to the barefoot doctor? Why go to someone rich and handsome? You're not blind either, great job. I ruthlessly exposed her hypocrisy. The fiancé's words stung Olivia again, and her crying face began to look a little unsustainable. She gritted her teeth, trying to steady her emotions. What do you want to do? You're still bullying me. You're bullying me because there's more of you. So many netizens are watching, how dare you do this? This completely proves that what happened to me that day was real, she said, trying to seek recognition. However, the atmosphere in the live stream had changed, and the number of viewers was quickly climbing to 700,000. Many comments began to discuss Olivia's age and appearance, and the atmosphere of denunciation gradually turned into entertainment gossip. Seeing her gloomy face, I was secretly pleased and continued to steer the topic towards gossip. Olivia said that when she was 18, a rich kid chased her for 3 months. 3 months, and she barely agreed. Are there any rich kids in our live stream? Tell us, do you like this type? The netizens' enthusiasm was instantly ignited, and the comments flooded in like a tide, full of ridicule and doubt. I agree with the comments. You also said that you lowered your standards to like my sister's fiancé.
I gave an exaggerated smile and looked at the fiancé.
She's already lowered her standards and is willing to accept you. What about you? Say something. The fiancé jumped back exaggeratedly, hiding behind my sister. No way, I'm barely a rich person, but I'm not stupid. This kind of thing, you should ask other rich people. Before he finished speaking, he made a vomiting expression. At this moment, Olivia suddenly screamed, obviously unable to control her emotions, and rushed over. Turn off the live stream, hurry up, turn it off. I was prepared, and immediately grabbed the phone on the stand and ran, excitedly saying into the camera, brothers, the old woman is going crazy, quickly type protect the streamer in the chat. As I spoke, I pointed the camera at Olivia. Everyone, look, the crazy old woman. My family raises pigs. I've seen pigs that are uglier, and I can get used to them. This, I really can't. Brothers, I want to throw up. The screams increased again. Olivia lost control, cursing without choosing her words, and her uncontrolled appearance reminded me of the day she tried to stop the wedding. She's recovered well, that's great. I thought to myself. That live stream ended with me, my sister, and her fiancé running away, but I had achieved the effect I wanted. Nearly 900,000 people had watched the live stream, and there were thousands of self-made videos, with many videos having over 10,000 likes, further expanding the impact. The fiancé's exaggerated performance in the live stream instantly washed away his title of
perverted doctor,
and instead became
the non-blind rich guy.
And people cared about his marriage and future. And I got the nickname Pig-Raising Sister. Olivia also got a new nickname in the struggle.
Worse than a pig.
Although her fans also increased, most of them came to the live stream to make fun of her. Those mocking comments became malicious insults in her eyes. Out of control, she was like her performance in the live stream, constantly arguing with netizens. Her crazy cursing of me in the livestream was now in stark contrast to her arguments with netizens, and Olivia's image completely collapsed. The fans who had originally supported her began to question her, and said that they saw the meaning of her acting fake. Cyberbullying swept in like a tide, and by the time Olivia came to her senses from arguing, it was already an irreversible situation. She tried to salvage her image and play the victim again, but it failed. She fully experienced the consequences of her actions as the
perverted doctor.
reversed roles. The online bullying was not the end. Soon after, it led to the opening of a defamation lawsuit. The charges of molestation didn't hold up, thanks to that entertaining livestream. The situation of
Spreading rumors with a loose mouth and running wildly to refute
didn't occur. The heat of public opinion remained high, and the truth spread, clearing James's name.
Immediately, James united with the wrongly affected hospital and other doctors to file a counterclaim.
I felt a sense of satisfaction as Olivia's image collapsed and she lost the lawsuit, with more netizens beginning to oppose her. During the days she was being lambasted, her mental state never recovered. Upon learning that she was being sued, Olivia grew increasingly desperate and mentally disoriented, ultimately choosing an extreme method, attempting suicide by wrist cutting. Although she was saved in time, her mental state had already shattered. In the hospital, we saw her in a weakened state, crying hysterically. "I know I was wrong. Please let me go. I haven't had a moment's peace in these days. The mental pressure is too great. I'm regretful. I shouldn't have interfered in your marriage or caused any trouble." I thought for a moment and returned her earlier words to her. "You're admitting you're wrong because you're scared, not because you realized your mistake. Go sit in jail properly." In the end, Olivia was sentenced to 3 years. Before the sentencing, she wanted to compensate James and the hospital in hopes of getting a lighter sentence. "I have money." That account of mine, during the live stream, many fans sent me gifts. "All that money can be withdrawn and given to you." I smiled and told her that was all my daughter's money, spent using the funds from your fiancé James's father, Mr. Sunday. The moment the live stream ended, all the minor compensation was refunded. Since the incident, Mr. Sun had been looking to help his son and had even suggested paying to suppress the heat of Olivia's videos, but his identity had already been uncovered by netizens. He had the ability to try to bury the video, but in the end, he still couldn't cover it up. That night, gifts kept pouring in, bringing tremendous heat to the livestream, which was a contribution to his son. Olivia was dumbfounded, her entire being collapsing like a puddle of mud. James's life returned to normal. He went back to the hospital, unaffected, occasionally teased by patients about his online nickname. By the end of the year, my sister and James held their wedding, their faces no longer clouded, laughing happily. The next news about Olivia came 3 years later when she was just released from prison. She was stabbed to death. The murderer was a woman who had indeed been molested, who sought help offline but turned to online accusations. Yet under the video of her accusations, there were numerous sarcastic comments, another one saying no woman would use her innocence to do something like this. Haha, wait for the reversal. The woman, in despair after stabbing her molester, ultimately also stabbed Olivia to death. In this society, every inappropriate behavior ultimately receives the punishment it deserves.